Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining. I want to talk about Apple. I love this phone, by the way. This is it's a feature phone, right? It brings back the old, just pick up your phone, just call and text only. I like it. It got me thinking, right? And this is only because a lot of my customers have been asking as well. A lot of my customers don't ask this, by the way, but a lot of other people have been asking this, right? And I jump on Reddit sometimes, right? When I'm bored, when I'm not talking to my customers here, I jump on Reddit just to get topics and just argue, right? But just to get some topics on what to bring up, right? And this is one topic that I found there which I want to bring up and maybe discuss, right? So you guys understand, how these things work. And from someone who works in it, right? So I'm working, you can argue as much as you want, but I'm doing it, right? So in terms of my background, I'm the CEO of Orukka Monesave. Monesave is a fintech app and Orukka is a payment ring. So we combine both. I don't know anyone who's doing it now. Some people have payment rings. You can find cheap payment rings online or in China or anywhere. And what they do is they connect to your existing banking app. So you have to make sure your bank works, so pray it works. You have to make sure it's the right bank and you have to try and link it yourself, okay? So we're the first to actually offer both. So I am a banker and I like rings. So I've combined banking and rings together. So you have a MoneySave app, and on the app you can order our rings. So we only do rings, right? Where did that come from? Because again, I've worked in banking all my life. How much do you think it costs to create a plastic debit card, right? So say you got a normal debit card, it's 25p from the banks. That's next to nothing, right? Banks can do better. How about metal cards? So I've got a metal card from a top bank. I'm not going to say which. I don't promote them. They're not paying me. But I can tell you I pay, say $50 per month, £50 per month, right? For that premium service. And for that, they give you a metal card and you're happy. You think you get a metal card. Wait, that's good. But you're paying $600, £600 per annum for that metal card because the metal cards cost £5 to create. That's it, £5. That's all. I pay £50 per month. Then I have to try and justify why I'm paying £50. I go, oh yeah, maybe the FX is good. Or I get an airport lounge in priority pass in the back of the airport when I fly. Oh, I get some discounts on FT. Already have FT. So you have to try and justify why you're paying that money, right? But if you paid it, you wouldn't have paid it otherwise. So the point I'm trying to make is that, we're the first to combine banking and rings together. Okay, and we work globally. That means we're working in about 50 countries already. We just launched 6 months ago, but we have about 50 countries so far and a lot of customers. So we combine both. I say all that to make sure that, look, I know what I'm talking about. So when I say, and again, I'm only saying this because these are potential customers, and when they talk online, they're talking to my potential customers. So I bring it up and say, hey, what you're saying is incorrect. So that's what I'm about to say. Do you know that it will be very tough and in fact painful for Apple to do health rings? As people say, and there are people waiting for this. There are people going, and they know what Apple does, right? They know specifically what Apple does. They do phones. They know Apple also has peripherals, things like, like the App Store. The App Store makes them about 30% of their revenue. Okay, so they make a lot of money from there. But on the other hand, as well, they make the headsets. That there's a peripheral to their phone. They make the charging cables as well. Those are really really tiny. The phone is where the money is at, and I know this. These people know that, but then they're waiting for a health ring. So they're like, "There's going to be a health ring from Apple. We can't wait." Okay, and I want to talk about that here. I want to talk about the same as well. Same to so people come to me and go, "Hey, Aura! Imagine if Aura could do payments." They'll take you out of the game and you'll have no customers. And I'm like, okay. So I wanted to address that. Okay. I'm not addressing it as part of self-defense. I'm just addressing it as part of what I know the industry works in. Okay. So I'll start from the easy one, which is me and if any of these top companies. So people say and they're like, hey, what if Aura, in case people don't know, Aura, Galaxy rings, all these guys do health rings. Okay. Question now becomes, what if they start doing payments? Then they have health and payments together on a ring. That would be cool. But guess what? We have it. So we're doing it right now. So if they started doing it, they're already behind the curve. They're already behind us. Number one. Number two, more importantly, we don't rely on them for payments, right? Why companies fail, I can tell you, and I know this because I'm working in one now. Why most companies fail is because they actually wait for money, right? So if you get an investment of 5 million from a VC or private equity firm, you better make that 5 million in 2 to 3 years. And it better be at least 50 million, or else they're going to close you down. That's why companies fail. Companies don't fail because they don't have customers. Yeah. That's why people make the mistakes. Most companies, I think I'm deviating from top, I'm going to get back. Don't worry. Right. But I really want to address this. Most companies don't fail because they have no customers. They fail because they don't have enough customers to pay back the investors that invested in them. If you have a VC that's come in and invested 5 million and you only have 200,000 customers, and those 200,000 customers are costing you money, guess what? You will not make any money there. Okay? You will lose money. And what they're going to do is they will actively close down your company. And that's why you see here the company failed. Or the company failed. Yeah, that's why the company failed, because they didn't have enough customers to make that up. Makes sense? So I'm just gonna open this. I'm not selling this, by the way, but it's opening out there. Guys, I want to explain that way, right? Which is how it works, right? So the way companies work is that if you're taking money from investors, external investors, and you don't have enough customers, about 200,000, then guess what? That's not enough to pay 5 million. So the VC will turn around and close you down or ask you to increase the price so that more customers can come in. And then maybe if you make 1 million customers, they make $5 or $10 per customer, they make their money back. That's why companies fail. For us, we've not taken external money. So everything, we started making money from our 2,000 customer. So by 2,000 customers, we're already in the money. And we're not, again, we could take VC money. So people say, take VC money, take TV ads, take a Super Bowl ad and go crazy. So everyone's going to know about the product. Yes, but my customers are going to suffer. Then suddenly 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 customers are not enough. And so I think if you call it, I don't know if to call it greed on the founders. So founders might get greedy. That's true. And I'm sorry about deviating from topic here, but I just want to make it clear that a big company can't take out a small company unless the small company is greedy and wants more customers. We don't want more customers, right? We already have enough customers to serve. This ad is free. In fact, it's going to get to a stage where YouTube starts paying me to advertise. So we have no worries there. If a VC comes to me and says, hey, here's 5 million, go get more customers, I'm going to say, no, thank you, because I have enough money to run the company. That's the point. So if Aura 5 million customers. And by the way, Aura has borrowed more money, right? So Aura needs more money. Apple need more money. They have an investor deck, right? If they undersell, if they underperform, if the analysts believe that they're going to sell 5 million iPhones and they sell only 4 million, their stock price is going to drop. On the other hand as well, if Aura only sell 1 million rings next year, stock price is going to drop. For us, if we sell 100,000 rings this year, we're happy. If I sell 110,000 rings, I'm happy. We're talking to a few governments where they want to come in and buy 1 million rings next year. I'm happy. So the point is, we're doing well slowly because we as founders, I'm a founder of the company and I don't care about the money. So that's one thing to get out of the way, right? Number one is we're doing products for customers, and I'm aiming for a local base where I just serve my customers without going crazy and without taking and borrowing money externally. That is the first start. So that puts us different from Aura, Galaxy, and all these guys where they need to raise the money because they're investors on their neck and people are asking for their money back. So they need to sell. They need to do ads. They need to create ads. They need to do sponsorship deals. We don't have to. Is there anyone using our rings? They paid for it. Like we haven't. I think I gave a few rings out to influencers. So if people ask me on the chat, I give them. Believe me, that's the only way. That's the only thing. If you're a celebrity and you came to me and begged me for a ring, I'll give you a payment ring. Other than that, I don't pay people to wear my ring. I don't give them. There's no sponsorship deal. I think we sponsored a school recently, a school race. We gave the first 10 people prizes, which was a ring, and that was it. And that's the only sponsorship we do. But we don't go ahead and pay, 100 or 200,000 to a celebrity to give us a shout out. We haven't done it. You can look through the profile there. Our customers actually shout us out, by the way. Yeah, but that's one thing I wanted to make clear, right? That on the other hand, so that's me done. Let's go up one level. Aura, people say Aura is going to go down if Apple starts selling rings. And that's another way where you don't understand how Apple rolls as well. Apple is very different. Apple focus on phones. That's where their margins are, right? So Apple, again, I can tell you, Apple, they sell their typical phone range. I can tell you, everybody knows this, by the way. I'm not hiding it. I'm not disclosing anything crazy here. The cost of manufacture for an iPhone is about maximum, someone was talking about it the other day, $5, because they have numbers. If you wanted to create an iPhone, you can go exactly to China and find out exactly where they produce and create an iPhone. You can do it right now. Same with our rings. You can go to China and get a ring from China for $10 and link it to your bank accounts, right? It's just that your bank will not allow it because the MasterCard will be like, wait, where is this coming from? Because these are all MasterCard rings. So MasterCard has to approve it. Then it has to link to our app. From our app, then we tokenize it and create it and link it to phones, to banks, to Android, to anything. We link it to everything, to crypto. With our rings, you can do anything with our rings. And that's the same thing with an iPhone. So an iPhone, they go to China, they order the rings, they design it, but after designing, someone puts it together in China, sends it back out, right? That costs them about, I'll say 10, 20, let's go crazy to create it. It's not that. So $20 to create. to manufacture it, land it in the US, and then they get good deals from the government as well. I can tell you right now, typical smallest range iPhone, brand new, out of the box 400. So look at the margin on that. That's about 50, 60%. That's about close to 100% margin on it, right? Crazy margins on it. Crazy. And then the same thing as well, if you go for the high end ones, the Pro are almost 1,000 now. But the Pro at 1,000, how much are they making? A lot of money. Now compare that to a health ring that Aura is selling. Aura is only selling their rings for what, $250, $300. That's nothing compared to a phone. So that's why you would never see Apple step down to that level. And hey, someone said to me as well, and if I haven't said it enough, someone has said it, go, well, maybe they love their customers. They don't care about their customers. You have to go down the level. So your mom and pop store, for instance, go to a pizza store, right? Pizza stores, they care about your service. So if you open a corner store and the entrepreneur, the founder actually works in the store, they care about the product, they care about the service, they care about customers, and they want their customers to pay them so they can grow. That's the same thing with us. So I'm still the founder. I'm the founder. I've worked on this, right? And what's happening now is that we're selling it. So we rely on our customers to grow. We serve our customers in that case. Our customers are our customers. But when you get too big, like an Apple, if you become an Apple are no longer serving the customers. They're now selling their investors. They're serving their investors. The investors are their leaders. The investors are the boss. Tim Cook, he goes through like he was hired specifically because of the share price. He has to bring up the share price every year. That means he has to get enough margins on the phones. He has to get enough margins on the VR sets. People love VRs. And they could have brought down the value of the VR. They brought down the price so that more people can order it. VR was a good tech. It's still a good tech, right? Virtual reality is such a good idea, except that Mark Zuckerberg just messed it up a little bit. But the tech itself, in terms of just being able to host meetings, being there. I mean, right now everyone's still using Zoom. Imagine if you had a virtual reality where you could join. But Apple don't care about that. Apple have to put it on that price because they don't want to drop their price and lose their share price. The cost of manufacture is nothing to Apple. Apple could sell the VR set for $100, $200. The market will pick up. But they don't. That's why. So I can tell you right now, health rings is very poor margins for Apple. Apple would never do it because, again, the margins are very, very low. At $250, $200 a pop. Unless you want to pay Apple $600, $700 for a health ring, you can do it. If you really, really love, I want to give Tim Cook money and increase his bonus next year, you can do it. I like Tim Cook, by the way. I'm not saying he's in a bad way, Tim. Right? But it is what it is, right? So you find that out. And then secondly as well is the ecosystem risk. So where does it sit, right? So if Apple start creating a health ring, where is it going to sit on their watch? Where is it going to sit on where their chain of products are? Then watch is still the same thing. You notice as soon as possible, the watch went up to the Pro and the price went up to $700 now, $700 to get an Apple Watch. They have the cheap ones, but cheap ones don't sell. As soon as you get in, before you know you're on the top part, right? There's a way to cross-sell those things. So that's what I mean. Same thing with Aura. I can go into Aura. Aura, I think people are talking about the payment ring there. Same thing. You can order a health ring. Aura did very well because they went for health rings. So health rings, I can tell you, everybody's human. So what does that mean? You can just order a health ring wherever you are. I mean, they focus on the US market because of the price, right? So at $250, $300, the US will do well. Europe does well as well. Then maybe Australia, other countries, Africa less so, but Asia less so because people can just go to China and order the same ring. So you can go and find exactly where Aura make their rings in China and order it. And it's closer to you than to go to the US. That's why they don't focus on those markets. But the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that it is a health ring that Aura have enjoyed, and they've taken that space because it's easy to get a health ring and sell it to everyone. If they go ahead and sell a banking app, sell a health ring, they go into banking. And what does that mean? That means you need to get a license. I can tell you right now, we have license in 35 countries. And then we have another 200 licenses that we have to go to MasterCard for. So we pay MasterCard for each license in each country. So margins are next to nothing. That's why I can relax, because the margins are low, my cost is low, and then that's okay for my customers. If Aura was going to come into this market, they have to get a license for each customer in each country that they're in, unless it's to focus on the US only. Focus on the US only, that makes sense. Okay, let's look at the US only. What happened when Apple tried to do it? Apple did this already. Apple tried to get into banking and they had the Apple Card. Didn't work out at all. In less than 2 months, they sold it straight away to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs didn't like it. They sold it to JP Morgan. Why? Because there's no margins in these things. So people are always surprised. Again, I advise banks on this. So I can tell you, don't be surprised. Banks don't even realize this as well. Because I had to advise banks on the P&L. I had to advise banks on how to increase their balance sheet. I advise banks as well on how basically which products to sell the most, right? So I can tell you right now, banks themselves don't know. If the CEO is watching this, it's common sense. Look at your profit line, look at your P&L, decide, Again, I think you should look at customers. Customers should decide where you're going. But if you've gone and sold your soul to the devil, VCs, you sold your soul to VCs, to private equity firms, and you've taken money from them, they are now your bosses. So you will have to pay them back as soon as possible. Otherwise, they close you down. There's nothing I can do about that then at that stage. So my point is, which is the case, you already see it, is like Aura is not going to do payment rings because it's just there's no money in it. You know, they have to pay a lot to the banks for licenses. They have to pay a lot to MasterCard for the license. And they would make less, like peanuts, compared to just a health ring. Let's not forget security as well. So these are our secure. I mean, listen, if you wear a health ring, no one's stealing a health ring from you, right? But for us, if anyone steals our ring, we need to make sure that in less than 2 steps, you can block the ring. So right now, if you steal the ring, boop, you can go in, open an app, open any app. So open up an app. If you know your username password, in username password, block the ring. Done. Before the person runs to the nearest store to pay, you've blocked the ring. I mean, you can't do much with your phone. If your phone is stolen, it's gone. Maybe you have some code that you put in so that it can't be, it can't be tampered with. But the phone is gone, it's gone. They're going to melt it down and trade away. Same thing, your wallet. Your wallet is gone, it's gone. What they do is they take the cards and just tap all the way through. There's a phone number at the back of your card, guys, that you can call. But we know yourself, you don't know the phone number off the top of your head. And then you need to try and find out the number. You have to go home and try and get the bank and call each bank one after the other. That's where the rings come in. So with the ring, you just go in, boop, you just know. It'd be hard to steal this off your hands. But if they do, all you do is just go into the app, 2 steps, disable it, done. So go into rings, block ring, and that's you done. Or block bracelets. So we do bracelets as well. So if someone grabs the bracelet off you, you can block the bracelet, gone. So again, I don't talk too much on this. I think I'll just summarize this, right? Which is Apple is not going to do health rings, right? They're not going to do health ring because it's way too cheap for them. They do our iPhones, they do phones, they make a lot of money on phones. It's going to really, really cannibalize their P&L. Aura, Galaxy will not do payments because same thing, is too complex to get the license. It's too complex to get the shares with the bank because the banks will hold the money, not you. You don't have a banking license. So Aura is not a bank. So what they will have to do is keep the money with the bank. There's no money in that.